I came in like that, Jason. I really did. Halloween special walking. I can't keep that up.
Knock, knock, knock. It's the bat. Gonna haunt your dreams. Scary baseball bat.
There he is. He did it for you. What's up, everybody? We are here to review The Walking Dead. This week it is Season 9, Episode 4, The Obliged. This is Chris. That is Jason.
Yeah.
Right.
By the end of this recording, one of us is gonna look like Negan's forehead.
I do wonder what his forehead looked like. After it probably wasn't too bad. Although he was smashing his head on there. So we are here to talk about the episode before Rick Grimes' episode. Jason, what was your overall view of this episode?
It was alright. I don't know whether it seemed worse because all the episodes prior have been consistently good, and I'm just not used to average episodes at this point, or whether this was just a meh episode.
Overall, I have to agree. I think this is the weakest of the four that we've had so far this season. It was still fine.
Yeah, I mean, it had a couple of points, a couple of high points that I was like, yeah, that's cool. And then there were a couple of points that I was like, yeah, that's stupid.
Well, there was one thing, I'll tell them what we were talking about before the show, was that now Jason doesn't watch the previews for the next week.
No, I get my Walking Dead online, so there are no previews for me.
Right. There's no ad right after for him. So he did not know what most of us know, which is that immediately after they show the preview for the following week, and Rick is obviously not going to... Well, he is most likely going to succumb to his wounds. He is not going to die right on that spot and to get destroyed by walkers. They obviously, one of the first things they show us is that he's on the horse, he's heading somewhere. So it does appear that those few scenes that we got in the trailer from Comic-Con where he's looking over and everyone's running towards him, it looks like they're going to be taking out walkers, and whoever was staggering around dripping blood is in fact going to be Rick. Now, we don't have this isn't for sure. We'll know for sure next week, but it does look like that's what's going to happen, that this wound is going to probably kill him.
Yeah, I came out of that episode thinking, really? This is how they're gonna off him?
It's funny, and I'm not going to say who it is because they might still do it. There is a cast member in the comic, or I should say a character in the comic, who is still in the show, who's been around for years, who does get a very unceremonious death in the comic. It's just like, wow, that just killed him? I'm not going to say who it is, but it was kind of amazing, and I hope they do it because it really just kind of rattles you. But no, Rick deserves more than that. He deserves better than that. It's Rick Grimes.
Yeah. The man, the myth, the legend.
So exactly, one of my questions though is how many deaths is Darrell going to rack up before he's going to realize he just shouldn't be getting involved in shit like this anymore? I mean, he indirectly caused Glenn's death. And now by helping out Maggie like he did, he's indirectly caused Rick's death. Or am I wrong?
No, I think you're right.
Which, by the way, he also indirectly caused Denise's death.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Dude, this guy just doesn't... I mean, that's sort of built in his character, but man, yeah.
I'm sure if I looked more, I would find more too. But those are just the ones right off the top of my head.
Yeah, Darrell's sort of a bumbler that way,
Just stay away, Darrell. Jesus Christ, just stay away,
dude. There's going to be a whole new conspiracy theory about how Darrell's secretly a serial killer, and his method is just to cause other people's deaths, and that's what he gets off on.
I joke, of course, when I say that, although there does seem to be some kind of connection there, at least as far as how these things tend to roll out sometimes. But the time with Rick and Darrell, I thought that was pretty good. I think there were some things there that the two of them needed to hash out. Kind of sucks that it happens the way that it does. I mean, I'm watching this episode for the second time on Sunday, and I'm watching all of his final interactions with a lot of people. I'm like, gosh, this is, in some cases, this is just a really shitty way to leave things. I mean, they're fine. Like the interaction between him and Eugene, that was important. The stuff between him and Carol, it's like, I kind of wish that would have been better than that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, the last thing he says to Darrell, if it's the last time he sees him, is be safe. They say be safe to each other.
Yeah. Talk about ominous.
Yeah, not so much too, huh?
Yeah. Definitely not.
I mean, overall, I'm okay with this. I'm okay with the fact that this is what takes him out. I mean, how do you do it? How do you what Walker becomes the Omega Walker that takes out Rick Grimes? Really.
Negan Walker or Carl Walker, right?
Well, right, but I mean, even though there's something poetic about the fact that it could have just been some random Walker that bites him or something like that.
Governor Walker, back from the dead.
There you go.
Dude,
he did get shot in the head, though.
I think we figured out who's going to take him out. It's going to be Scott Walker, right?
That's a governor over here in Wisconsin. For those of you who aren't in Wisconsin, yeah, I mean, I'm okay with it. It's there's going to be a lot of reflection in next week's episode about things of the past and what he's gone through. And getting injured in the same spot that he was initially injured in the beginning of the show, in the very beginning of the show, as in the first 5 minutes of episode 1, getting shot in the side, where now he's got he's now been injured in that area again. I think it's fine. I'm really looking forward to next week's episode, at least to the point of saying I know he's gonna die, or I know he's gonna be off the show. It's his last episode, so I'm looking forward to see how they do it. Yeah,
I'm prepared for the feel strain.
Yeah, it's it's going to be weird, but it looks like it's going to be good. I got to say one thing though. It probably my biggest dislike of this week's episode was the whole scenario with Carol and I forget the guy name from the
Savior guy.
Right. You have that. It's like it sets up the whole scenario where the walkers are going to start coming because they're shooting their guns, but then we never see what happened to this.
Yeah, I think they're gonna pull that over into an overarching thing, right? It's Chekhovs Gun. They made a big deal at the beginning of the season about how the walkers are making giant herds. They're like coming in mass, and now they're making all this noise. They're firing off guns like a bunch of idiots. So I think we're gonna see them have to pull together to push back against whatever giant walker horde is coming for them.
I think you're right, because we're going to get episode 5 next week, but episode 6 is supposed to be the rest of the time jump that we saw in the comics. This kind of the time jump in the comics was between 2 and 3 years. Robert Kirkman was not specific about it. This at the beginning of episode 1 of the season was only a year and a half, and they're going to do another time jump to take us to that point. There's got to be some kind of clarification here, or I guess there doesn't have to be, but you would think there would be some. But what's bothersome about that is that I don't want any of this to take up my Rick Grimes time next week.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I would definitely agree with that. Hopefully, they're just gonna put a focus. They're gonna make it the Rick Grimes episode, and then they're gonna do the time jump halfway or at the end of episode 6.
I mean, I'm going to be the guy from Dawn of the Dead, the remake of Dawn of the Dead, when he tells the guy pointing the shotgun at him, I want every last breath. That's what I want. That's what I want from Rick. I want every last breath of this. I mean, the guy's just, I mean, he's been a damn good character, damn good actor behind him. He's been the highlight of the show. He's been my favorite character since the beginning. Yeah. So
he's fucking iconic. He's Rick Grimes.
He is. He's
without a doubt, Andrew Lincoln pulled this show for such a long time.
He didn't have to pull it as much as he has at other times. But he's always been in front pulling it. So
well, and I honestly don't believe that this show would have taken off the way it took off had he not been such a strong personality.
I would agree. And there was a little while at the beginning where I wasn't huge on Andrew Lincoln playing Rick Grimes because he doesn't look a heck of a lot like the character from the comics. But I couldn't imagine anyone else at this point.
Yeah, not coming from comics, I can't imagine Rick being played by anyone else or looking any different. Andrew Lincoln, in my mind, is Rick Grimes.
Mm-hmm. And for fans of the show who aren't fans of the comics, he should be. He should be. I mean, I've been watching parallel universes, watching and reading parallel universes this whole time, which is fine. But yeah, I wouldn't. I mean, I don't think I'd want anyone else to play him. So we'll talk. Obviously, that's going to be the main talk of next week's review. So, what do you think about the interaction between Michonne and Negan? They're obviously setting that up.
Oh God, that whole thing was so ham-fisted. It was like, if you're gonna draw parallels between them, at least don't be that blatant.
It really came out of nowhere, didn't it?
Yeah, and it was like,
I don't really,
she used the baseball bat. That must make her Negan. Like, no. At the end of the day, a baseball bat's a baseball bat, okay? At some point, you have to be like, okay, guys, I see what you're trying to do here, but really?
And this is something that it's been my biggest complaint of the season so far with the new showrunner and such, is that it was a bit too on the nose.
Yeah.
And that's been, I've said that a couple times now this season. They're doing really good jobs at building things up and intertwining things and focus. My God, this show has not had this kind of focus since like season 3.
Yeah,
it's been really good like that. But yeah, things are, when things take a turn, they take a bit too sharp of a turn, and I'm not. We'll see if that continues, but it's been my biggest complaint. That was definitely. I mean, and this has been something we've been wondering. Who's Darrell, or I should say Norman Reedus, is getting paid a lot more money to kind of take over as the head of the show. But I would even argue, and I can't remember the actress' name at the moment, but Michonne, and the popularity of the actress who's been playing Michonne, especially from Black Panther and such, I think she's in a better position to do so.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So, I mean, it's good to see them build this confrontation, but it really was very, all right, here it is.
Yeah.
And I didn't agree with the premise at all. That it's like, oh, okay, that's because out of nowhere. Now, if they would have been building it up since the first episode, where Michonne's just kind of going out at night and killing walkers, all right, but it's
maybe
like,
but even then, I feel like that has more in common with oh boy, I am Morgan. I can't believe I forgot his name.
That's all right.
Yeah,
he's got his own show now called Morgan and Pals.
Yeah, you can see our review on that.
Oh my gosh.
But my point is, I argue believe that makes her more in line with Morgan, and his absolute need to clear, that
I think it's. I think it's for different reasons. I think what Michonne's doing is more of a kind of, things are very comfy, things are very stable, but there's a part of her that needs to remind herself more than just thinking it, but to see it, that this is still happening. This is still out there.
Yeah, and I'm like, Negan didn't give a shit about any of that. Negan was all about order through dictatorship,
And just overall, in general, shit fuckery.
Yeah, absolutely. Negan doesn't give a shit what the zombies are doing as long as they're not eating him or his people.
Right, yeah. I didn't understand that either. I mean, Negan used the walkers as a means to an end.
Yeah, he slathered their guts on his guns, for Christ's sake.
Yeah. But, that's the direction they're going in, and I don't mind that so much. And knowing what I know from the comics, there's going to be some really interesting things coming up ahead where this combo, I think, is going to be really interesting. These actors definitely have the ability to pull the weight that Andrew Lincoln was doing. Still, I don't. I'm not mad at nothing. I mean, we were mad at Fear. I don't think we're mad. I don't think we're mad at this though. We're just like, it is what it is. Yeah.
We were mad at Fear. We're just sad about this.
Yeah. I keep hearing more and more about the hate for Maggie. I don't get the hate for Maggie.
No,
I don't get it.
She's been a good character, Yeah,
she's fine. She wasn't in the episode too much, but I get her motivation. I don't agree with her.
No. But
I get it.
Her character's been consistent. This is not a change in character for Maggie. Not by a long shot.
I mean, it just kind of seems like this hasn't always been the case, at least not from what I've seen, but it seems for the most part, everyone's got to hate on one of the chicks, and I don't get that. First it was Lori, then it was Andrea, and then I don't remember who it was for a while. I actually think it was Carl for a while, but now it's back to a chick. Now it's back to Maggie. Everyone's hating on Maggie.
It was Carl in the beginning, with the whole Carl.
We're not going to hear Carl. Of course, we weren't going to hear Coral anymore, anyways.
Oh, dude, that was my favorite part. Was Coral. Coral. No, I think the fact that we live so far north that I did not detect the difference between an actual Southern accent and whatever Andrew Lincoln was trying to pull off was the funniest bit.
Carl.
Yeah, but because when the first season came out of The Walking Dead, I was still so isolated in my little Wisconsin bubble that I was like, yes, this is a Southern accent. This is what this sounds like.
So we're gonna do a little bit of spoiler here. So if you don't like this, then you gotta skip a few minutes. But I did hear from an interview that the showrunner had done that Maggie will she's gonna disappear this season, but she will be back in season 10.
Oh, really?
Right. So that leaves what happens to Maggie into some limited stuff. Now they could just be snowballing us there and misdirecting. So. Or snowing us, I should say, whatever the phrase is. Who cares? It's midnight on Halloween.
Yeah.
Yeah, they could just be snowing us there, but yeah, there's been talk that she'll be back in season 10. Now, to what capacity, we don't know. So
yeah, which makes me believe that either she's going somewhere on the chopper, like you said, or she's maybe gonna do the whole self-imposed exile thing.
Yeah. I think it's all going to kind of stem from here. I think it's going to stem from what's going to come up here. All right, so let's lay it out. Let's wrap this up. Does Rick die? Yes or no?
Oh yeah, of course Rick dies. The whole thing.
Dude, you would not believe how much talk there is that he's not going to die. He's going to put him on the helicopter.
No, he's dead. He's out.
Yeah, I think he's dead too. This very grown man has not had a hero like this in a very long time, and I hate to say that, but I do believe it is the case.
Yeah.
So, all right, let's rate this thing. One out of 5. What? Help me out here, Jason. You saw I haven't seen the episode in a couple days. You just saw it, so.
1 out of 5 memorials for a baseball bat.
1 out of 5 memorials for a baseball bat. All right, what are you giving it?
I'm giving it 2.5. Straight down the middle.
All right. I'm going to give it 3.5. I still think we're in the upper echelon here, but yeah, it's definitely not as good as the previous 3. What did you guys think? Tell us. Give us a comment below. Let us know what you thought of the episode. What do you think? Is Rick going to die? Yes or no? Is he going to die? We're obviously going to cover it next week. But yeah, that is going to do it for now. So, any last words, Jason?
Yes, it is midnight on Halloween, folks. If you are a teenage babysitter, now is the time to lock the doors, grab your shotguns, because Michael Myers is coming to town.
That's right. Hey, by the way, I saw that that is now the highest grossing slasher thriller movie in a theater ever.
Nice.
And well deserved.
Yeah.
It was really good. We did a review for that. You should check it out. Guys, if you liked our review, please like and subscribe. But yeah, that is going to do it for us. We've been going a bit long here as it is. So until next time, we'll see you next week.
Hey people, thank you for tuning into this episode and taking a listen. If you like our content, if you like what you're listening to, there anything we go over, hey, please, we would not only love to hear more from you, but if great if you could throw some support. You can subscribe right below. Also, you can toss us a line anytime. That's ksongmedia@gmail.com. Of course, you can tune in for our channel anytime for movie reviews, game reviews, a lot of random wacky stuff. Who knows what you'll hear. And of course, our episode each week where we're bringing the nerdiest things we can find, dig up, and Maybe not mine. Maybe the stuff that just drops in our laps. But anyway, hey, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for listening. We hope to hear from you again later. Take care.